Hello, my name is Tiara Hunter. The movie that I am doing my presentation on is called Antwone Fisher. It is a story based on the real Antwone Fisher and what he went through from childhood to adulthood. Within this presentation, I will give information about Antwone, his past trauma, and how he sought help for it. A little about Antwone. He is in the Navy. He is known to have a short temper. After a confrontation between him and another sailor, he is ordered to see a Navy psychiatrist named Dr. Davenport. The first two sessions, Antwone does not speak to the doctor, but eventually he does open up to him. Antwone opens up by telling Dr. Davenport about his childhood. It wasn't the best. His father passed before he was born, and his mother was pregnant while incarcerated, which led him to be put in foster care after he was born. Antwone was raised by his foster mother, Mrs. Tate, along with her cousin Nadine and two other foster boys named Dwight and Keith. Mrs. Tate was not a good foster mother. She would abuse Antwone and the other foster boys. For example, she would beat them with a wet rag and tie them up to a pole in a basement for punishment. She would also call the boys a racial slur, the N-word, but I will refer to it as black boy. In Antwone's session with Dr. Davenport, he stated that he was kicked out of Mrs. Tate's house at the age of 14 because he stopped her from beating him with a shoe by snatching it away from her. Before he left, she told him that no one would take him in because he's a stupid black boy, and that his own mother didn't even want him. Her words stuck with him and shaped him to have hatred, thinking no one cares about him. Hearing what Antwone says from his last session, Dr. Davenport suggested that Antwone take his anger out on something else other than people, such as going to the gym to blow off some steam. After Dr. Davenport gave his advice, he informed Antwone that it would be their last session, which meant that his required 3 sessions from his commander are completed. Once Antwone heard that, he stormed out the room with anger. Not long after learning that his sessions with Dr. Davenport were over, Antwone picked a fight with a fellow crewmate named Grayson for bothering him while he was reading a book. Following Antwone causing the fight, he is ordered to have sessions with Dr. Davenport again. Because of that, it leads me to think that Antwone feels that he cannot function without his sessions. Which the assumptions turn out to be true following the next scene where Antwone asks Dr. Davenport, "What do I do after 3 sessions are over? Because I don't know what to do." With Antwone expressing his emotions and stating that it shows that he really thinks no one is there for him and that Dr. Davenport is all that he has when it comes to someone being there for him. Following Antwone's outburst in Dr. Davenport's office, Dr. Davenport comes to Antwone's ship, letting him know that his next session is next week. In front of Dr. Davenport, Antwone tries to act like he does not care, but when Dr. Davenport leaves, you can tell by his face that he is relieved or happy that his sessions will continue. In Antwone's next session, he focuses on how he can make himself better with his attitude. This shows that he wants to do better and there is room for growth, especially because he has a new love interest named Cheryl. Ever since Antwone has met Cheryl, you could tell that there is a softer side to him, and that Cheryl being around him brings out the best in him. Within the following days, Antwone's ship is stationed in Mexico, and most of the crew goes out to party, including Antwone and his friends. During the party, Antwone denied a dance with a woman because he wants to respect his relationship with his girlfriend. Grayson, who is a shipmate he has gotten in an altercation with before, stated that the reason Antwone did not want to dance is because he is gay. This led to Antwone fighting Grayson once again. Antwone was soon sent back to base and left in a holding cell. Soon after, Dr. Davenport arrived there because Antwone's commander told him what happened. Dr. Davenport wanted answers. Antwone stated that the boys were making jokes that he was a virgin. Dr. Davenport asked if it was true, and Antwone replied with, "I don't know, I might be." Antwone soon told Dr. Davenport more about his childhood at age 5. When Mrs. Tate took the other foster boys with her somewhere, Antwone was to stay home with Nadine. She slapped Antwone and ordered him to get in the basement, and she sexually assaulted him. After the assault, Antwone ran to his friend Jesse's house, and Jesse asked, "Did she do it again?" Which lets us know that this was not the first time that she has done this. We now know that Antwone has been sexually assaulted numerous times by Nadine, and on top of that, he was physically assaulted by Mrs. Tate. Antwone had a rough childhood, and this affected him and traumatized him as well, and is the reason why he acts the way he does. Because of this experience, he displays withdrawn behavior and increasing nightmares and outbursts. His abuse had a long-term effect on him. Antwone is invited to Dr. Davenport's house for Thanksgiving dinner with his family. Dr. Davenport's brother asks Antwone about his family, which Antwone leaves the table. Dr. Davenport follows. Antwone reads his poem, "Who Will Cry for the Little Boy," to Dr. Davenport. This is about a little boy that is helpless. Dr. Davenport encouraged Antwone to search for his family and connect with them. A couple days after Thanksgiving, Dr. Davenport informs Antwone that he has completed his sessions again. Antwone has an outburst and says that everyone leaves him. Then he mentioned Jesse leaving him as well. Dr. Davenport questioned that, and Antwone said that Jesse was killed in front of him by a cashier around the age of 18 during an attempted robbery. The sound of the cowbell from the entrance door is a trigger for him, since he kept yelling out cowbell during his outburst. Antwone gets the courage to look for his family. Cheryl joins him on the trip to Cleveland after no luck with social service documents. Antwone went to Mrs. Tate's house. Both Nadine and Miss Tate tried greeting him, but he pushed them off. He stated that he remembered what they've done to him and that he is still standing strong. After his rant, he leaves the doorstep, and Mrs. Tate yells what Antwone's father's name is. Now knowing his father's name, Cheryl and Antwone go through phone books trying to find people with his father's last name. He soon came across a lady named Annette, who is his father's sister. She invited him over the next day. Aunt Annette and Uncle James take Antwone to his mother. She does not recognize him until Uncle James tells her that he is her son. She cries and runs to the other room. Antwone asks why she never came for him, then tells her all of his accomplishments and how he dreamt of seeing her for the first time. She was silent the whole time. He kissed her on the cheek and leaves. He comes back to Aunt Annette's house, surprised by a lot of people who turns out to be his family, cousins, aunts, and uncles. A meal is prepared for him, similar to the dream he had as a kid of a family surrounding him with a feast waiting for him. Soon after, Antwone thanks Dr. Davenport for all he has done for him and for believing in him. In conclusion, Antwone suffers from his childhood trauma, which affected him in a negative way while growing up. He has post-traumatic stress disorder. His four symptoms are intrusive memories, avoidance of reminders in the event, hypervigilance, and negative thoughts and/or emotion.